by host. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay, so I wonder, just so you know, if I start breaking out my Wi-Fi, I'm not sure if my office is great with big groups, so I'll just turn off my camera and head upstairs. So if that happens. Okay, so I'll get started. Let's see, share my screen. Oops. Get that out of there. Okay. There. All right. So my name is Hannah, registered dietitian, and I actually still work, but mostly came from a clinical setting. So I work up in Rice Lake at the Marshfield Medical Center, and I am an inpatient dietitian. I also work in the renal dialysis unit, and then I also taught a diabetes prevention program. And it was a really good job, but I don't know, I just felt like something was missing, because when I signed on to be a dietitian, I was super excited, you know, like that young little puppy in school thinking, yay, my dream job is coming. And, you know, just researching the career of dietitians, I just didn't feel like that dream job was in my near future. So I kind of looked deeper into that, and I realized that when I was working with patients, they were half naked, catheters, half drugged up, not in the best situation to learn, overtired, ill. So I was managing disease. I was managing gut health, tube feedings, gut surgeries, obviously heart failure, kidney disease, diabetes, whatever they were inpatient for that was nutrition related, malnutrition. And really, I just felt like that 15 minutes that I get with a patient at bedside wasn't really as effective as my heart would want to be as a dietitian. And so as fun as, you know, like tube feedings in the background and looking at labs, like surprisingly, I'm not a very type A dietitian. If you know any other dietitians, you may notice that. So that wasn't where I wanted to be. I really realized that there was no one to help these patients really understand how to prevent what brought them there. So I started Wholesome Endeavors in July of 2018. I was actually kind of just this vision that hit me pretty hard in the face, and I couldn't ignore it. And I got my LLC that week. And from then on, I went to float in my clinical job and then really pursued this. So I'll tell you a little bit more about what that looks like. So talking about disease, did you know that actually 40% of cancers are preventable through diet and lifestyle? 1 in 3 people are pre-diabetic and don't actually know it. Saturated fat is more of a contributing factor or cause to type 2 diabetes than actually carbohydrates. And colon cancer is our second leading cancer killer. What I'm saying is not all of these are weight related. So marketing society has really pushed people to believe that your health relies on your weight. And don't get me wrong, I understand that correlation, but fingers no matter what weight. So I started Wholesome Endeavors, and I just kind of give you a little idea of why I'm different in this arena, and being there's many dietitians out there. I see there's a lot of health coaches, a lot of wellness businesses, and how Wholesome Endeavors is different is that what I specialize and educate on. So as I was just saying, a lot of wellness and health businesses are focused on weight. And I know people being customers, clients, whatever, that's what they want is weight loss. But I really try to change their perspective about food, nutrition, disease prevention, and increasing their own passion for their health. So that is something that helps them keep their healthy habits in the long term. My approach with this, and RDs, I don't know if you kind of know, but dietitians specialize in many different things. In fact, I've met many dietitians that don't have any passion for health and nutrition. They just are doing the job just like anyone else would do their job. So in this case, I specialize in disease prevention. And so some specialize in tube feeding, some specialize in pediatrics, right? Some actually work with children in WIC. So a huge spectrum of dietitians. I really, working at patients' bedside, my approach is that I'm able to convey nutrition education in a very relatable way, which in that case, I think and if, again, I hear this all the time. So if you know dietitians, I'm not making fun of them, but they often do have that reputation of being very type A, very black and white. And in fact, that's not my personality. So I'm able to really kind of break it down for people. I also help people feel empowered in their health journey by increasing their self-worth. And so by that, I mean, I don't focus on their weight. We don't track their weight. And that may be surprising coming from a dietitian, but we all know that weight loss happens, but why doesn't it last in some cases? So I focus on finding the root of the problem. I'm not, with weight loss, it can be a lot of do this right now, try this product, try this way, fad diets, but focusing on the root of the problems really helps people prevent the old issues from resurfacing, bringing them back to their old bad habits. And then my passion truly is to help people. So by that, I don't actually market and advertise weight loss. I do really focus on helping them implement that lifestyle that lasts and learning the true non-dieting approach. I've learned that a lot of supplement companies right now state that they're the non-dieting approach as well. So this is a picture of me presenting at the military in Fort McCoy. And what I learned there, because I had to actually do consults with 50 military men and women, is that I was having many of the same conversations with men and women. So men still struggled with the weight stigma of what they should look like, and they had no idea of what disease prevention looked like, or it wasn't even on the top of their mind. And women too struggled with, I overeat and I stress eat, I'm raising kids and blah, blah, blah. So it was certainly not anything to do with the disease prevention, which is something that helps people really get their habits to last. So how I do the education and help people in the community is I offer events in my studio. And again, that's at Artisan Forge, where I offer lunch and learns, food demonstrations about healthy meals. People, if it's an unfamiliar ingredient, they're more likely to use it if they see it. And then addressing hot topics. I also do a We community event where I bring in local businesses often to talk about different health related or non-health related things, as long as it's beneficial to the client. And then I do online education with clients and work one-on-one with them on a weekly basis. And then I just launched a Wholesome Cooking Club where it helps people implement healthy cooking in their own kitchen, and then presentations and consults. But I steer away from the individual consults that are more managing disease. I get a lot of like wounds, diabetes, things, because there are those resources. What there's not a lot of resources is helping people actually prevent those. So just an example of my in-studio events where just 3 events a month, and kind of some ideas. We do pasta, quesadillas, and just healthy spins on a lot of comfort food. Coming up these next couple months, I'm going to be working with CSAs and local farms and farmer market things. This is then the online program that I was talking about, where the education is in a video format. I actually used to teach this, a 3-month-long program, but what I found is I wasn't able to spend my time with my clients, so my time was spent educating. So now the mindset mentality is probably one of the longest sections, focusing on getting the guilt away from eating, some strategies for stress eating, emotional eating, and obviously increasing that self-worth so you put yourself on that pedestal to want to prevent disease. Macronutrients, getting a little deeper into those, which then ties into gut health and anti-inflammatory eating. And then again, the bottom is a little deeper in disease prevention. So outside of that, we meet online on a weekly basis to really address what they personally are struggling with and what they personally want clarification on. And that really helps their journey move along to meet their goals. I also do monthly webinars. And then, they have a group of just my clients. And then this is just kind of a clip of the monthly program where people can get the food demo, the recipe, and then a group to support them through their process of eating healthier in the kitchen. So here are my strategies to get clients, because clients is what pays rent. And I don't really know if this presentation is touching everything what typical presentations do. I just kind of threw it out there. But so I have a Wholesome Women group page, and that group page is kind of like a little cup of, I guess, my target audience. And I really spend my time in there nurturing them. I provide them content, education, support, really encourage engagement, which offers them connection. And then through building that relationship, they start to trust me and then kind of can pursue what services I offer. In-studio events exposes me to new people, so I really try to offer new events that would bring in new people that aren't already kind of following me, and then also highlight some of the local businesses that I really value as well in the area. Collaborations, so I'm working with Sarah Stokes for Juicy 365. I'm the nutrition mentor in her membership, and then Everyday Caregiver and the nutrition educator in their monthly subscription box. And then Wholesome Cooking Club is a way that people can start cooking healthy, and if they really want to personally work with me to increase to meet their health goals and learn on a deeper level, then that's the way that I expose myself as to possible clients, but also help people overall. So this isn't meant to be showy, but it's meant to say that there sincerely is a gap, and other health professionals are seeing it, my clients are seeing it, and people are wanting it. So reminding them, like helping them learn why they want it is really, I think, outside of the typical dieting culture. So it might be refreshing. So it's been a really fun year. So I tend to, I'm just gonna make sure I got my notes. So yeah, I think I can open it up to questions. And if I missed anything, I apologize.
All right, so for questions, if you wanna pop open the participants tab, you'll have a button at the bottom of it that says raise your hand. You can click that, and then I'll unmute you one by one. Otherwise, you can drop the questions in the chat and I'll also read those. So let's start off with Phil.
Hi, Hannah.
Hi.
For those of you that haven't been to Hannah's space at Artisan Forge, it's really nice, very inviting. But I have a question on, my screen just completely shifted. All right.
You look better, Phil. We can see your face.
So I figured it out, I think, for now. So I have a question on, I've always been curious about this. Maybe this isn't your area of expertise, but protein bars. Mm-hmm. This is the one that I eat quite regularly because my son turned me on to these. Mm. A, what is your opinion? B, if you have one, what's a good one?
I didn't expect this kind of question.
Yeah.
So, okay, I am really food first. Okay. I'm a really food first dietitian in the sense that marketing companies will put whatever they want on packages to make you entice. So we're convenience-based society, but people have been so steered away from food that they actually like finding a high protein snack is hard now. How to make a smoothie without protein powder is hard. So what I do is I focus on helping people with finding foods that offer what you're looking for, but have disease preventative properties, because yes, that protein bar has protein, but it doesn't have the whole food disease preventative properties. So I help people find that, but not only that, we also focus so much on protein because protein sells, and not enough on mostly disease preventative properties, especially fiber. So probably finding a breakfast with fiber is where I'd steer you and helping you through that. So
okay, awesome.
I don't know if that answers your question, but
yeah, it does. It
okay. And without seeing the nutrition label, I also like to look at that in the ingredients.
Okay, let me read it all to you. No.
Oh no, we'd be here a while.
All right, we've got Brooke and then Laura.
Morning, Hannah.
Hi.
Great job on your presentation.
Oh, you're sweet. Thank you.
So I know you and I have talked about this in private, but I'm guessing I'm probably not the only one on this call who is either currently experimenting with keto or has done keto.
Mm-hmm.
So one friend yesterday was kind of criticizing me because she said as soon as I get off keto and I eat an apple, my butt is going to explode. So can you kind of touch on how to, and let me clarify, we're on modified keto, not like full keto. So how can you healthily incorporate carbs into your diet, but if carbs are a problem area for you, also cut back on them?
So my client program are 6 months long because it is a process. So it's certainly not like a, here's the answer, go with it kind of a thing. I do not advocate for keto, and I have a very strong scientific reason why, and a very unbiased reason why. So I am not judging, and I already told you that. I do not judge because truly my whole motto in my business is always enjoy the journey. So I focus on helping people enjoy their health journey rather than looking in the mirror and being mad at themselves and not knowing what food is healthy because this diet says eat this one says eat that, and it's conflicting and they're mad. And then they just throw away the whole concept of food and just eat whatever is told. So I help them enjoy that journey with food again. And it's one of the things that restrictive diets do is they put you in a very strong level of guilt. So when you eat a banana now, because it has carbohydrates, you feel as if that is, a bad food. So it's putting you in this category of good food, bad food. And it goes much deeper that about the keto, but in this moment, I don't think it's worth getting into. So I think with carbohydrates, personal question, because what I would tell you is actually very different than what I would tell someone else, in their different health journey, is that on your diet, like that's where you are in your health journey. That's okay. Everyone, that's what I was saying about like being on a diet. I don't judge people that are on diets and do that stuff because that's just where they are in their health journey. When they come to me, that means like they're ready for that next step in their health journey. So remember how in the beginning I said saturated fat is probably a bigger contributor to type 2 diabetes than carbohydrates? That's the science behind what people don't understand. So that's on the side. I think we can delve into what that means a little more. So keto is very high in saturated fat because it affects your beta cells, which are what produce insulin. And insulin is what manages your blood sugars. So that's why I don't talk about these things in a group setting because it's a little, but I think for you, just the restrictive dieting is more of a mentality game and puts you at a more increased risk for, not you specifically, the keto diet puts people at an increased risk for disordered eating, because once people lose weight on a very restrictive diet, they hold this pressure on their shoulders to maintain that weight loss, which then puts them either continue that weight loss or lose that weight again or prevent the weight gain. And that doesn't have anything to do with your health. So again, I really try to help people realize the importance of your health because that's what helps you with lifestyle things. So
Thank
I
you.
don't know if that helped.
Oh, it did. Thank you.
Okay.
Excellent. Laura.
Hey, Anna.
Hi.
So these first two questions make me think that you should just do open Q&As as a part of your marketing. But that's not my question. So with one of my clients, we just did some more market research and realized that what we were communicating, their ideal customer already really knows. So that's what I'm kind of thinking with you is, whatever that core problem is, do you have an issue educating, if you're saying we're educating our customers to realize that disease prevention is a thing, what is that a challenge for you? And are they coming to you with a different problem? And then you're saying, okay, this is also a problem. And how does that work into kind of your messaging?
Yeah, great question. So the fun thing about this is that if everyone had this like massive realization at one time, like that would kill a lot of wellness businesses and supplements and stuff. But to oh shoot, I lost my train of thought. Hold on. It was everyone. Can you say the core of your question one more time? I lost my train of
Yeah.
thought.
I was just wondering what you have to educate your clients on and whether they understand if disease prevention is an issue or if they
Okay.
come to you. Okay.
So yes, I hear all the time people say, I would just eat healthy, but the timing is bad, or, like I already know how to eat healthy, but so people actually have kind of this level of eating healthy. It's the other things in their life that they're kind of ignoring. So whether it be that low self-worth, they're not putting themselves on that pedestal to actually want to prevent disease for that quality of life, whether it be they are having really big issues with portions and they're not willing to, they don't see that. So kind of helping them find that root of the problem is how we decide if we're a good fit. So I don't really convince my client I'm not, but we just kind of decipher where they're at their journey and if they're ready for sincere lifestyle change. And that means how much focus can they take off of caring so much about their weight. Not to say my clients don't lose weight. I don't have a percentage of them that do, but most often they do because it's lifestyle change, but it's not the quick weight loss. It's kind of that slow forever weight loss. So it's really just assessing how much that they can find the root of their problem and then if they're ready to care about their health.
One follow-up on that, when you kind of broke down what you do with each of your clients and the fourth one was disease prevention, is that the end goal to get people to understand that and shift their mindset regardless of what they come to you for originally?
Yeah, so most of my clients initially their main goal is they want to lose weight. So with that first section of the mindset and mentality, we really work together on the core of understanding why you want to lose weight. Is it you just want to look better in jeans? Why? And getting down to that why, that's much more deep than just like, I just want to lose weight. That's going to push them a lot more. Just like I think anyone else in business with, right, your why.
Yeah.
So then my goal is after the 6 months, they actually don't need me, right? So unlike supplements and biased nutrition things, they need you to continue coming back. They need you to always be, buying their supplements. So for me, after my clients are done, they have the opportunity to join the Wholesome Cooking Club, where then I continue to help them cooking healthy. We meet monthly online in a group setting, so they still get some access to me. So that's where we can continue our journey. But yeah, my goal is that they actually have this lifestyle. They're not in the I'm doing good right now phase, which is implying that they may not be in 6 months.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. We've got 4 hands raised and 2 questions in the chat, so we'll try to power through these. We'll go in with Elaine and then Ben, then Sarah, then Diane.
Can you guys hear her? Okay. Is your volume on, Elaine?
We can come back to Elaine if Ben wants to go.
Sure. Hannah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Congratulations on all your success and nice job with your presentation.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. I was just wondering what your biggest or some of your biggest challenges are associated with your business.
It's the longevity of getting people to trust me because I don't have that quick product to say, do this. I don't have anything that's like a quick sale. So, from me meeting a potential client can take 6 months for them to kind of be like, okay, I'm interested. I get what you're doing. A lot of people are very resistant at first, thinking I'm going to be very overpowering or overwhelming, or, like anyone has their guard up. Like, is she actually selling a product and just trying, so helping them break down those insecurities. Trusting me, I'd say that's such a long process in many cases, which is a big reason I have Wholesome Women on Facebook, that group page. And then also, the competition of like, always arguing like the fad diets or the, you know, the perspective. So, you know, because I don't have this desire to like convince people to work with me. So just probably the process of like not knowing when my next client is going to be, or again, like many entrepreneurs not knowing like a monthly income.
Sure, definitely. Is there some, just going along those lines,
Mm-hmm.
something that's helped my wife's business specifically has been identifying some type of retainer or some type of, you know, monthly system that you can set up with somebody. And this is not specific at all, but just that helps them with the cash flow and knowing like, okay, this month, this is guaranteed what's coming in. So if there's a way that you could set up something like that.
Yeah.
But it is such a long-term game. And to your point, you're fighting an uphill battle against so much garbage information out there with your industry. But from what I've seen, any type of consistency that you can set up with some type of retaining system helps with cash flow. So
yeah, I'm hoping that kind of gets settled with the Wholesome Cooking Club. I made it at a price point that most people can afford, but yet it doesn't add up quickly, if that makes sense.
Definitely.
So,
And it sounds like you're doing a lot of really good things too, just exposing yourself with doing a lot of online stuff and these kind of providing value-adding information to people. So it might just be a matter of time too, just before all that momentum really catches up to you. So
right. Thanks.
good stuff. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Sarah.
Morning, Hannah.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, I know this was nerve-wracking for you, so way to be brave.
Thank you.
My question, it revolves a little bit around Ben's, but I guess as you look at revenue streams for the organization, obviously you mentioned, you know, paying the rent is a really important thing. And because you and I know each other, we've talked a little bit in the past about your online classes. I didn't see that come really forward in the presentation. And I'm wondering if that is still one of the pieces of your business, and that might be one of the ways, to Ben's point, that you can grow some of that revenue that is predictable. And I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit about that, and then how, whether you have a target audience there and a message that you're getting out there, and whether there's something we could help with around that.
Okay. I'm wondering if when we talked, I didn't have Empower Your Health yet. Do you remember? Did I? Do you think? Okay.
Don't know.
So I used to teach, I called it Let Us Learn, and it was a weekly class for 3 months. And it was most of my content in Empower Your Health. And that's where I was saying that I realized I was spending my time educating, but not helping them personally. So in between the week when we walked away from class, you know, were they struggling with stress eating or, you know, nighttime snacking, or, you know, like you can eat as healthy as you want, but if your emotions and head is taking over. So that's when I decided to put it in an online video format, and they can watch them over and over. I mean, my client we're in our 6th month, and she's like, I need to go back to the mentality section, because it's just that refresher of like, you have to get, so then I can spend my time on a weekly basis. So that is, I've debated just putting those videos in, you know, here, buy the videos, and then if you don't need me, fine. And then you can that's a way that I can make income with less of my time. And that would have to be like a conversation that I felt comfortable that, because again, you can have all the education that you need or know, but if you're not like really surfacing those root problems, then it just doesn't really matter. So yeah, I'm kind of in those like back and forth of finding, if it's worth getting, I don't know.
Continuing the videos, you mean?
No, so I'm gonna share a screen here, if you don't mind. I actually have it open already. Oops. I'm not shaking as bad, so I have more control over my mouse this time. So this is what I have not launched yet, but I just want to give you an idea. Empower Your Health is a 6-month program, but I've also broken it down. So Jumpstart Empower Your Health, where people can buy the videos, but they don't get so much time with me, but they still get the online support. And then I've also broken it down, Empower Your Health, where there's 2 people, spouses, coworkers, best friends are doing it together. So they get a big discount, but I still focus on our time individually. Because I think that's the biggest value point, is helping them break it down from a new perspective, which people need new perspectives. They don't realize how much you need a new perspective.
Yeah.
And so that's where the pick two is just an optional thing that helps, because I've had some people that have like, I'm so intimidated by the grocery store, and people are like, I love grocery shopping. So I've decided to have it so they can actually pick two services if they want, for a discounted price depending on which package they go with. So this is kind of my way to expand my services with the same content, differentiating time, but helping people meet their needs.
Great. Looks good.
Awesome. We've got Diane with a question.
Good morning, Hannah.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, good. And hello to all of my 1 Million Cups friends.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to say thank you for your time, first of all. And also, I loved hearing the beginning of your presentation about you were educated and in a job, you thought that that's the path you should take, and then you realized there was a disconnect, and so now that's how your business morphed. So I think you're on the right page as far as your expertise and your passion. So bravo to that. And then don't get discouraged with all these, you know, little roadblocks or slow momentum, because you are in the right place. So I had a quick idea of customer acquisition when you were talking about the person you're looking for is trying to prevent disease. Just from some friends of ours, middle-aged people, mostly men, as soon as they got that diagnosis of, I'm sorry, you're overweight and you are at risk for heart disease, here's a prescription to take XYZ pills. Mm-hmm. Or I'm sorry, you're now diabetic because you're overweight and out of shape, and here's some insulin, blah, blah, blah. So it was a big awakening for them, because in general they were healthy and thought they were living a great life. And I don't know if somehow you can target that moment and have whoever's passing out that script say, well, here's a script, or here is someone you can contact for an alternative way of handling this. You know what I mean? Because they're all of a sudden like very concerned about disease, and you've got their attention. And then besides just that point, is there Facebook groups of, you know, diabetics, middle-aged men who have heart disease? I mean, zone into maybe a certain demographic who is experiencing it right now, and they are desperate. They will do anything. They don't want to be on medication. It's expensive, blah, blah, blah. So what do you think of that?
Yeah. I will admit my target audience, sorry, Sarah, this was one of your questions I missed. I didn't get to that, is typically middle-aged women that have been through the dieting up and down, because truly, actually, your weight going up and down is one of the most unhealthy things that we can do to our bodies. So it has just been because women struggle a lot with that. And then also, again, helping them enjoy the journey. So with men, I have talked to men, it's harder to find that right man that wants to take action. And like working with men in the hospital, like I've had a harder time having them like want to really pursue being proactive. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes, and I would disagree, just because I know our friend group, it's happened, and these middle-aged men are just, you know, taken aback, and, you know, they're willing to do whatever it takes to get back. About the women, can you target, you know, at that point where the woman's getting the diagnosis, or there may be a Facebook group of diabetic women or heart disease women, or anyway, you know what I mean, is target that. Is that a thing you want to do? I don't know, because that could be, that could keep you really busy.
Yes, I actually have thought about in like the 5-year plan or something, like hoping to make like a quick educational video for doctors to play, so they can say, oh, your blood sugar is high, you're pre-diabetic, or you're on your way to pre-diabetes, click play, and then like go do charting or something, just enough to get sound in their ear. And then at that point they can like make the decision to pursue or not, and that they have options to play with to prevent diabetes versus just going on with their life, or a medication like you said. I've dreamed that up. I guess execution is hard, and I certainly I would need like, yeah, a business coach or something to help me with that part. It's something that I've
Okay, great.
wanted to kind of think about.
Yep, food for thought. So thank you again for your time, and I will back off now.
Thank you for your
Next
question. I love it.
Sure.
It actually resurfaced that idea, which I had way when I started and then got super busy and pushed it off.
All right. The question from Mary Kate in the chat. How many clients do you have, and do you have an ideal number that you're trying to reach?
So as you know, like you can only have so many so that like controls your income, right? I actually have a 2 and 4 year old, so I only work part-time right now. So my client days are Tuesdays. So I have 6 clients, and yeah, it's kind of, I think I could handle 8. So that is something that I've kind of been looking at, like, okay, if I get to the point, like, do I take an extra day or do I rearrange hours? So because I put so much of my like heart and energy into them, I'm probably most comfortable with 8 to 10. But that's also where I hope to increase my services, that I can help more people on less time, especially if they're at that point in their journey where they maybe need less help, just need more direction. So yeah, that's a good question, and probably something that, like, I'm small enough now, but when I think about growth, it's something I probably need to address.
Question from Doug was, do you help people who are pre-diabetic?
Yes, that is probably one of my biggest, and it's funny Diane mentioned that, like, I do have a passion to help them the most because they're the ones that tend to not know where to go, and so they either just continue their lifestyle or kind of get in this vicious cycle of trying something, not addressing the problem, and it kind of doing that cycle. So I just haven't really figured out how to really get in front of them, and yeah, that's something I probably need to focus on a little closer.
And then a question from Connie was, do you have any specific advice for people that are staying home and cooking more? Types of foods, buying groceries, meal planning?
Yeah, and I actually put a lot of that in my Wholesome Women group or my Wholesome Endeavors Facebook page. Sometimes I'll do quick lives in the kitchen. I recently did a post on staples to have if, like, we are in a quarantine for 2 weeks. What do you want to have in a tote so you know it's there? I've done lives on just kind of random foods and here's about this food. And then again, Wholesome Cooking Club is really my way to actually get in people's kitchen with them. Not really, but obviously help them build their confidence that they can cook healthy, even though people tell me all the time they can't cook. I'll challenge you.
Excellent. And I did drop your Facebook page, your website, and your Instagram handle in the chat. So if you wanted to connect with Hannah on social media, those links are all in there.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go to Anne next.
Hi, Hannah. Thanks
Hi.
for doing this today. Great job. And I think you have a pretty great business as well. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. So you may have touched on this, but I'm wondering what role social media is playing, how that is helping you. Are you seeing that as a vehicle to gain additional revenue without taking on clients who take a lot of time? And maybe that was on the check that you showed recently even. But I'm just curious about your what you're finding, and or if not currently, which social media channel or what you want to pursue.
I
in that
am
regard.
definitely still navigating for sure, but I have now created my events calendar for May, June, July, and did everything online. So I even have some guest speakers. It'll be Zoom. I'll still do the food demos over Zoom. They don't get to taste it, but and then I decrease the prices because they are missing out on some of the experience of being in studio. But it's a way that I can continue that, because I was kind of getting momentum of having people come to the studio, and so I'm sad to get behind on that a little bit. But I have never, like, I'm a dietitian. I've never claimed to be like a social media expert or even really like a professional entrepreneur. But one thing I think would be beneficial is learn more about LinkedIn. And I know Miss Laura Riley is this huge professional in that because I went to her presentation in Women in Business Conference. But it is so overwhelming to me that I just keep avoiding it. So I think LinkedIn could be a good opportunity for me to get in front of those professionals that do deal with pre-diabetics. And that's a stepping stone that I keep pushing and picking the other stepping stone every time.
Sure. Thank you.
But otherwise, I do not have a problem going live. And I think my personality is different from many dietitians in the way that many dietitians like behind the computer screen. They like to look at labs and analyze albumins, pre-albumins, and they like to like email doctors and have that really close knit. And me, like my goal, I was like, get me at those patients, and I wanted to work with them. And so I do like going live, which also many people get nervous about, and I don't, because I have a message that I offer people, and that's more important to me than the nerves of going live. But presenting to a group of entrepreneurs is way different than
Yeah, thanks.
All right, Brooke's got another question.
Hi, Hannah again.
Yeah.
You and I talked a little bit about this in private, but can you touch on Noom, not Zoom, with an N, because I really don't know a whole lot about Noom. So while you were talking, I just quick went to their website, and some of the points that they talk about with like disease prevention and healthy relationship with food you're speaking to. So why would someone choose to work with you over Noom?
Love that question. Yeah, and Noom totally came after my vision of Wholesome Endeavors. I was like, what in the world just happened? But Noom is something where you get a coach and through an app, and you don't actually know their nutrition stance, their credentials. You don't know if your personality is going to be effective in helping you with change. You don't know if what they're saying is something that's going to be in like relation to what you can. So truly, like with my clients, I don't sit and like recommend the same things for every single client. Like I don't know how much, I personally do not know how much like those coaches are qualified to personalize things or, you know, make it. So I just really hope to offer the way that I convey education in a relatable way at my events and my presentations and things like that. So people can have an idea of like, okay, I feel like I can really not feel judged by her, not feel like she's going to focus on, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong. What about doing this, like more so empowering them with what they're doing well, what, you know, new perspectives. So it's a personal aspect. Also, if you are a client, you get either 50% off of my in-studio events are free. So you're really getting hands-on personal experience, which again, I believe even in these meetings, is it as personal as if we were together in that meeting and I was presenting in front of you, you know? So it's just what people need. And if an app can change your life, like that's really good. And I'm excited for them. My 6-month program is an investment that literally empowers you to be confident in your food choices and stop that questioning of like, I don't know, is this healthy? Like you have the whys. So I just have never, I never did Zoom. So I don't know if they can offer that depth of like science to give you the why something is like healthy and disease preventative. And if they do, like, it's certainly an option. I'm trying to get off social media as much as I can. An app doesn't entice me, even if I had an opportunity. Like a virtual assistant has been presented to me a lot, and I'm like, I just want a person. I want to work with somebody.
I think that's a good segue to point into the chat. There has been a little bit of conversation. Laura said she found one testimonial on your website, but if trust is one of your biggest challenges, she thinks it'd be helpful to highlight testimonials. It's not a quick sale like a product, but it doesn't quickly communicate your impact and success.
Okay.
And then Ben seconded that, saying testimonials that tap into emotions will be beneficial and should be at the top of your page. And Phil said, big second for feedback, tell a story or a few stories.
On the website, tell a story. Okay.
All right, let's go to Elaine. Is your microphone working? All right, Amy.
Hannah, first and foremost,
Hi, Amy.
your presentation's been fantastic. You know, I am a unbelievably huge supporter of you and what you're doing, and am beyond proud of you at this moment in time. I do have a question though for you, in regards to women over 40 and the changes our bodies go through, pre-menopause, menopause, all those things. Have you ever thought of doing a program specifically around those issues?
Okay. Brilliant. No, I've not. So I'll definitely, would you, okay, so question for you, like, would you like a workshop thing where we did like a 3-hour workshop and kind of helped you, or would you just like to buy a piece of education to do on your own time?
Oh, good question back. You know, I think honestly, I think you could do it in 2 different ways, and actually maybe a duo would be best, because I think there is a different process as we enter into premenopausal to menopause, and then what happens after. And I guess that's where I would look maybe to a professional as yourself to, you know, because our bodies as women keep on changing. We're not like all of you guys out there, lucky you guys, you know, but there is that struggle. And I actually do, let's connect off. I do actually have another client out in Idaho who actually addresses that. And that's all she does is work with women over 40. But I think it might be kind of a interesting avenue if you've never thought of it.
Thank you. And truly, I know that I can be the first one to claim that I do not have a specific enough avatar. And I've always known that. I just can't really nail it down. I try, and then I'm like, well, what about them? And what about them? And I struggle with that. And so it's probably something that I'm doing the collab. When is that? That's today at lunch. There's a presenter. So I'm totally there. Thank you for that idea.
You bet.
Excellent. So Elaine's previous question was, with everything going on, she's sure that you've had to pivot a bit, and just wondering if you're learning anything through that that you can build into your business into the future.
Ooh, I've been wanting to launch a monthly cooking program for ages, and I've never made time. I've always like dreamed it up and pushed it aside. So this got that out there. So I'm really like relieved. This like it is for my, it's like that's like one of the hardest things is because in my studio I do food demos and I love to educate. It's not like here's how to chop an onion, it's here's why onions are awesome. And then I get into the science a little bit and they're like, oh, and not that I'm encouraging eating onions, but like once people have the why, including like different nuts or seeds, or try them, they're more likely to understand why to have them in their kitchen. And so with now this monthly program, I kind of get to do that. And it's been fun because then we meet in a group. We just had our first one this week, a group, anyone in the club, we do a group Zoom. And so I actually have one of my past clients in it and then someone who's not been a client. And so they just got to talking about different ingredients. And then the old client was saying like, oh my goodness, you're going to love cool way to bring people together at different parts in their journey. And I love that. So I guess it would be that. And as far as, no, I really am eager to get events back in my studio. That's maybe just focusing on how I can make the events more enticing.
Excellent. And then she also asked, she has a 6-month-old and struggled hard with pregnancy nutrition, and there was so much conflicting advice online. Would have loved someone in person to help guide her. Just curious if you work with pregnant women being a mama yourself.
Okay. One of the events I'm really excited to have is I know a doula locally, and she's also a chiropractor, but I really do want to bring some, pregnancy nutrition, like a collaborated event, the We community event with her. She can talk about different safe pregnancy things, but then I can talk about, and so, yeah, I mean, I guess I have not had clients like that, but I like to offer, and especially being a mom of 2, like prenatal nutrition, I've already delved deep into that from my own experience.
Excellent. And then
Thank
Shannon
you.
asked in the chat, have you ever presented or partnered with any schools? Since you're so hands-on and enjoy educating, seems like this could be a great partnership.
Okay, so this is a loaded question because I love kids. And schools, so I presented recently in a networking group, and she asked, you know, like, I actually want my daughter to have more of help with this, and I 100% agree. Young girls need this. Young girls are staring at the social media, right? The marketing, and they don't really have that brain power to decipher what to believe, what not when it comes to nutrition, right? Which is why I would love to do some presentations, but my clients are middle-aged women to help them because they're the role model for the daughter. So I'm not saying it's their fault. I'm saying they're the one, like I've had people, you know, like let's say I work with a client, but then the mom might, and I'm not ever blaming anybody, especially I'm a mom, like not mom shaming, but the mom may be like, are you really eating that McDonald's right now? You just met with that dietitian, or like walking around talking about her own weight and always struggling and saying, I'm trying this diet because my weight and I don't like being overweight. And that's way more controlling in that daughter, in that young girl's mind than what I do. So I've not thought about like, but presentations, I would love to offer them some insight and some perspectives, but truly like in a personal level, my passion would be to then work with then the mom. Does that make sense?
Sarah actually dropped in the chat, maybe a mother-daughter program, actually discuss that whole issue that you just kind of presented.
Yes.
Just having the
That
daughter
would be,
or just have the mother. So
that could be pretty powerful.
yeah. Excellent. Well, I think that we've kind of got all the questions covered. There's been a bit of discussion on the customer avatar. I think it's valid to start a bit broad and hone in as you discover what gets traction. Getting too specific too early could limit that discovery, from Sarah.
Okay, that's good. So true.
Awesome. And the final question that we always end with is, what can we as a community do for you?
Okay. Well, I'm just going to pull this up again real quick. I know that we have limited time, but oh, there. So I guess, and I think you guys have offered like amazing ideas. So thank you. Ideas or suggestions of businesses to offer worksite wellness. So focusing more on disease prevention, because that's going to help, obviously, their insurance. It's going to help keep with preventing sick leave as much with their immune system. So I thought that could be a really fun target to work with and offer more of that since, and then to like snacking at the desk and stuff. And then, or ideas or suggestions for local exposure. So something like this or thing, I don't know. I'm still kind of learning ways to get out in that community as much.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. It looks like we don't have anything else. So I guess we will see you all next week, same time, same place. Make sure you're subscribed to the 1 Million Cups newsletter and have a great week.